Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. For today, we're going to be talking about a very special topic to me: game shows. Now, you might be asking yourself, what about game shows? And to that, I answer, I don't know. I just used a random idea generator, and I clicked the first answer, which was, what's your favorite game show? And to be honest, I don't watch any game shows, but I thought it'd be fun if I just host a little fake game show here real quick. So, to have a game show, I need to have a host, which is going to be me, obviously, and we need someone else to be the game show player, right? Luckily, we got that in the form of what was that guy called that we had when we did the stupid episode about another guy? There was like Triple Podcast or something. I'm Mr. Podcast. And you also got the other guy. We'll name him. Well, we gotta give him a name then. We'll name him John. Got John and me, Mr. Podcast, and I would like to welcome John to our special game show called the Podcast. So, welcome, clapping sound effect. I am now John. Well, it is a pleasure to be here, Mr. Podcast. What game is this? Well, John, you don't know the game, and I don't either, but I'm gonna make it up on the spot. And so the game we're gonna be playing is called Hangman. Woohoo! We're playing some Hangman today. Might be asking, why Hangman? Because Hangman's easy, and you could just slap it onto anything, and Hangman always works, and I can just do it in my head. So, imagine there's like a big board, right? And there's like 5 letters missing at the bottom, and then there's the Hangman hang thing. But like the head isn't the body isn't there because the guy has to guess the Hangman. So it's 5 letters. So John, would you like to take your first guess at the Hangman? Why, most certainly, Mr. Podcast. I would like to guess my first letter to be A. Oh, well there, John. I haven't decided the word yet, so I don't even know if that's in there. I should decide the word real quick. Whew. Well, now you already guessed a letter, so I kind of have to base it off of... I shouldn't base it off of that, but I'm subconsciously going to. There is an A in my word that I picked. It's the second letter. Congratulations, John. You got one of the 5 letters. Yay, I got the letters. And now I know... I'm John now. And I know... I know what the word is, because I'm the same person. I'm just saying I'm someone else. This isn't gonna work at all. I'm gonna guess the second letter. Well, we already guessed A, right? So we clearly have a vowel. Let's go with another common letter. Let's go with S, right? That's a good strategy. Might be a plural word. Oof, I'm sorry, John, but there is no S in this word. But you get a little hangman head on the board, so that's better than an S, right? I draw a little hangman head on the board. So now there's the second letter's A, and he has the hangman head on there. Oh golly gosh, says John, who I am now. And then, but I guessed it wrong. Oh shoot. I'm gonna guess another common letter. Let's go with what other common letters are there? Let's go with E. E is pretty common. Oh, well, John, I hate to break it to you, but you are correct. There is an E in this word. In fact, it is the first letter. So, first letter is E, second letter is A, and you have the other 3 to work with. Can you guess what whoever's watching this podcast and wasting their time doing so, you can probably guess what the word is, but I'm gonna pretend that John doesn't, because this is more fun this way. I mean, obviously, if it's up to EA, it's like one option. It has to be EA Sports. Like, what else could it be? Shut up. I know it's 3 letters after. There's only 5 letters in the word. And EA Sports is like SPORTS. Like 8 letters I counted. And it still won't work at all, but we'll pretend that it does. Okay, John, do you have a third guess for us? Oh gosh, I got the first 2, yay, but I got one wrong. What should I guess now? Let's take a little look-see at the letters here. Maybe we'll go with another vowel. Let's go with O. O is a common vowel, I think. Well, I guess the two more common than it. Let's go with O. Okay, John. Well, there's no O in this in this word. This is such a stupid idea. Why did I think this would be fun? Why did I think this would be funny at all? I wasted like 6 minutes doing that. 5 minutes. I don't know. There's like a little bit of audio I recorded at the beginning, so it's a bit shorter than what I think it is. For me, it says we're at 5 minutes and 44 seconds as of ending that sentence, but yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. There's no O in the word. You get a little body drawn. So now we have the head and the body. It just looks like a stick with a circle on top. But that's connected up to the hangman thing too, so it looks really weird. But yeah, you got 2 wrong and 2 right so far. Let's see if we can change that. Over to you now, John. Okay, I'm now John. So, oh my goodness, I can't believe I got O wrong. I thought there gonna be like a lot. I thought the majority of the word was gonna be vowels there for a second. Let's guess another common letter. Let's guess L. L is a common one. Well, John, you are wrong. There's no L in this word. Where do you think it would go? Probably at the end, actually. So now he has another one wrong. But like, the thing is, I'm gonna draw the hangman really weird. So this is how it's gonna look right now, right? So we got the hangman hang thing, and you got the head at the top, and you got the body. But then I use the next line is both of the arms in one. So now he's got the head, the body, and the arms already done on the hangman. So 2 more wrong and he loses. Let's see if John can pick up the pace, because he only has 2 letters so far. Oh my goodness, I'm John. I have no idea what this word could be, man. You kind of stole all my options. I thought at first it was gonna be Earl. Oh no, what words start with EA? None. Like 1 word. I'm gonna guess a common letter like let's guess T. T is pretty common. It's in lots of words. Okay, John, I'm Mr. Podcast, and well, I'm about to sneeze. But like I don't want to sneeze because I'm recording right now. I'd rather not sneeze. Like, to be honest with you, like to be for real for a minute. But there is a T. There's a T. It's the second last letter. So you have the E, A as the first 2 letters, and then T is the second last one. This is such a bad word. I should have picked a better one. Too much Wordle, man. I haven't even played that game all year. That was such a 2022 thing. Okay, well there is a T. You know where it is. It's in the spot. So right now you have hangman head, hangman body, hangman arms, and you got the E, A as first 2 letters, and the T is second last letter. Over to you, John. Shift my chair over a little bit to pretend that I'm John. And I'm thinking about this one, man. You've stumped me. I just threw out T as like a random letter because I just figured it's common, but like I didn't actually have a word behind it. That's my strategy the whole time. That's why I'm on the Hangman Game Show. I don't know any words. I don't know how to spell anything. I couldn't even spell Pinocchio if I wanted to, you know? Like, that's how dumb I am. I wouldn't know how to even start spelling that word. Like, what would the first letter even be? Like, I'd guess B. Like, that's such a bad guess because it's not even true. It starts with the P. Pinocchio. Pinocchio. No, I'm getting off track here. Let's guess an actual letter here. So we got E, A, and T. So naturally, I would guess that spells eat, right? And obviously, if you want to finish eat, we want to guess an S to make eats. So I'm going to guess S, Mr. Podcast. Well, you see, John, you already guessed S. That was like your first guess. That was like your second guess. And frankly, you're being a pretty big idiot right now. That's just no S. I'm not even going to mark it on the board because there is no S, right? There can't be an S. You already guessed the S, and I said there's no S's. I don't know why you think there's an S, because there can't be. Maybe like think next time. Oh, Mr. Podcast, you drive a hard bargain. What am I going to do? I guess 3 letters, EAT. Maybe I'll guess an F at the beginning for feet. Feet. The other kind of feet. No, that doesn't. Because the EA is at the beginning and the T is at the second last. What could it possibly be? I'm going to guess just a random letter here. Yeah, I'm going to go with F. John, are you serious? You know this, John, you know that it can't be feet, right? That's, first of all, it's only 4 letters. Second of all, the E is the first letter, A is the second letter, and then T is the 4th letter. There's other letters in there. There's no F. You get that, John? You stupid ass. Whatever, you get 1 leg on the hangman, so now he only has 1 leg remaining, and now then he'll be dead. Your turn, John. I guess a letter. Whew, Mr. Podcast. Darn. Like, what am I gonna, what is there to do? I already guessed every letter I know. I don't even know half of them. I'm gonna go for a wild guess here, and I'm gonna say, well, because if it's not feet, it has to end in eat. So I'm gonna eat. I already guessed A. BEAT? No, that's not a word. CEAT? Seat? No. Well, yeah, seat's a word, but I don't think that would be likely. Deet? No deet. Eat? I already guessed E. Cannot be eat. Feet? No, we can't do feet. I already guessed F. I'm not stupid. I'm gonna prove to him that I'm smart. Jeet. No, that's not a word. Jeet isn't. Heat. Heat is a word. I'm gonna guess H. Let's go with H. You know what, John? If you actually knew what your H, yeah, there's an H. There's an H in this word, but you got it through the most wrong way possible. Like there is an H, but there's an H at the end, John. Do you know how words work? Do you know how words work at all? Right? You don't know how they work. You're getting it all wrong. There's an H at the end, though. You are right, so you still have 1 leg left. You have an H at the end. So now you have EA something TH. What do you think the 3rd letter, the middle letter, could be, John? You have, like, 1 option. There's nothing else it could be. It's a very common letter. Please don't mess it up. Because if you mess it up, we're going to lose, like, a lot of revenue from this show. So please get it correct. Over to you, John. Well, thank you, Mr. Podcast. I appreciate how much you I appreciate what you see in me. So I'm going to think that heat was correct. Heat is everything that's in there. But I have a feeling that's not the word, because heat is only 4 letters last time I checked. And the 3rd letter, H-E something. H-E-A something T? I think that's what it was. I'm not going to ask him again. I'm socially awkward. So what I'm going to guess is, if it's H-E-A something T, its second last letter, third letter was a space. But my strategy has been take the word, rearrange it into something else, and then that works perfectly fine. What could it be? I don't know. I can't guess any letters. There's like none that it could possibly be. If I would have to guess, I would guess. We could make the word heart if we get H-E-A-R-T. That's 5 letters. I'm guessing that. R. I'm guessing R. Final letter. Whew, well, John. Yeah, you're correct. There's an R. There's an R in the middle. It spells the word E-A-R-T-H. You got the word earth there, John. You got it correct. Woohoo. Even though you thought you were spelling the word heart. You thought you were spelling heart, but you spelled earth. Do you know how confusing that is? Jeez. John, you idiot. You got it. You win the game show. Barely. You pretty much don't win, like, cause you're like the dumbest person I've ever met. Somehow, you won. You guessed all the letters without failing. They're all very common letters too, like, this is a good Wordle starting word because it contains a lot of good letters. But it's like, at the same time, you're stupid. You're dumb, man. You don't even know how this game works. But you don't even know what Hangman is, I bet. What's Hangman, John? Well, Mr. Podcast, Hangman is a social construct that was made to entice people to hang others. So it's pretty negative in terms of its etymological roots, I would say. John, that's not true. That's not true. Hangman isn't complicated at all. Hangman is a game where you guess a letter, and they say if it's in a word or not. It's just old Wordle, and frankly, you're ass at it, John. Like, maybe be better next time. Stop being a loser. Game shows. What's your favorite game show, John? Oh, this one. I'm gonna Google game shows real quick. Let's see what we get. Yeah, okay. It's like, frankly, my personal opinion is that this game show is clearly the best in the world. Let's look at game shows for the whole family at gameshownetwork.com or something. So you got classic game shows such as Action Behind the Scenes with the Game Show Director. I love that game show. It reminds me of all the time I spent with my family watching the Action Behind the Scenes of the Game Show Director game show. It was so much fun because we always had to guess what was going on next. I mean, it felt like we could really play along with it, The next game show on this list is Behind the Scenes in a Game Show Network Studio Audience. Oh, I love that game show too. That's a classic. Very much a classic, because it was like we could actually see what's going on behind the scenes in the Game Show Network Studio Audience. And that's the name of the game show, of course. And I don't know, it just made me really feel like I was the game show. Lots of game shows make you feel like you're watching the game show. This one made me feel like a game show. And to that, I gotta give it props, The next game show is called How to Win at Masterminds, the game show. So, How to Win at Masterminds game show, that's a classic game show too. Like, when I was like 3 years old, my family used to always watch that like at 3 a.m. in the morning right before I went to bed at 4 o'clock. So it was a perfect time for me to like learn about minds and masters, because frankly, before this period of time in my life, I wasn't really aware of how the world worked in this sense, and it really got me to understand masters and minds and how to wins. So How to Win at Masterminds, the game show, really helped with evolving as a 3-year-old. The next game show on our list is called Casting Call, How to Be a Game Show Contestant. This is perfect because John here was garbage at it. Okay, let's read what it says. Let's actually click on it and read what it says. It says, this is what she says. Quote, I was one of those kids who didn't go outside and play with my friends in the summer. Yeah, that's John for you. It says, because I was inside watching Game Show Network. I was really into it. Well, it's okay if you don't go outside as long as you're giving me money. So if you're just staying inside, watching my TV show, listening to my podcast, that's fine. Don't go outside. Unless you're watching my podcast outside, in which case, that's very much appreciated. Do whatever. I don't care what you do. I'll promote whatever gives me money. Because frankly, I don't care about you. No, I care about you. I just care about me more. And it says, how did you get started in game shows? Well, I got started in game shows, me personally, as Mr. Podcast. It was because I realized I don't know what to talk about, and I really want to make a podcast episode because it's been a while. And I figured game shows are the perfect episode idea. It's like 11 p.m. right now. And frankly, I'm gonna finish recording this, of course. Like, I have 10 more minutes of this. I love talking to you. You're lots of fun to talk to. But I just wish you could talk back. This is just like having a lonely voice chat, lonely voice call, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But like at the same time, it gets lonely at some point, right? Because yeah, you are listening. Like right now, I know exactly what you're thinking about. You're thinking, what is this guy talking about? But we don't have that deep connection because I don't see you. This is a one-way street, buckaroo. And if I do know you in real life, I don't know you as you're listening to this. So I'm not actually I'm not thinking about you right now, but you're thinking of me, which is frankly quite weird. Like that's weird, right? I don't know, I guess that's just how YouTubers go, frankly. That's how game shows would go too. That's how being on the internet works. You don't think about the person reading your messages. You don't think about the person reading your Twitter tweet. You just think about yourself. Social media encourages selfish behavior, doesn't it? Because what is it really? The social media is just a place where people put their own opinions and other people can come and read them. But you're not thinking about the reader. In real life, having a conversation involves two people coming together and they talk about it and they know the other person is listening, or if they're not listening, you can kind of tell. But like, it's not a one-way thing. That's a two-way deal. Even if someone's just giving a speech, you know that they're probably listening to you, right? Like, that's just how it works. But in a game show, it's all a whole different story. You're talking to the camera, and the people are watching you. They know you. You don't know them. That's weird. That's weird. That's why this is a fake game show, because I could not handle that kind of thing. Anyways, let's actually continue on. It says, what does a contestant producer do? The question. I'm not going to read all the answers. I'm just going to give my personal opinions on all of them. So what does a contestant producer do? Frankly, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to pretend like I do. So they're the person that produces contestants. They're like the contestants. Contestants are basically just robots, and the contestant producer is like the robot that they come out of. So it's like this big machine that outputs small little contestants out of them. And the contestants grow up to look like humans, and I just have them on game shows, but they're not actually real humans. Because when's the last time you've seen a game show and actually have known one of the contestants? Never. You've never known any of the contestants because they're not real. They're all robots. You might be asking, what about John just now? I know him. No, you don't. You don't know John. If you know this John, tell me. Only I know him, and he's not even real. He's literally me. He's Mr. Podcast, pretending to be someone else. Like, if that doesn't scream what's going on, I don't know what does. So a contestant producers or something, it's just a big robot that makes smaller robots, and the robots are the contestants on game shows. Next one. Does your prior game show experience help you in your current job? Yes, I've had so much experience with game shows. It's helped me so much with this episode of the podcast. The podcast is not called Podcast. Just for you wondering, it's called the Podcast. But if we're going to put a name at the end of it, it would be the Podcast. It's like, you got the Joe Rogan podcast, right? We're the podcast. But if you get rid of the podcast at the end, if you get rid of like the suffix, it's called podcast. Right? Just like how Joe Rogan would be the Joe Rogan podcast. But you get rid of the podcast, and then it's just Joe Rogan. I've never seen his podcast. I don't watch I watch like one podcast. I've only ever watched like one ever consistently. I still watch it. It's really good. I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't care enough to say. But point is, I'm not really a podcast guy. But yeah, it's called the podcast. But putting the podcast at the end, like the suffix that you do with all podcasts, it'd be called the podcast. And I'm Mr. Podcast as your host. Next question. I don't think most viewers realize that people are cast on game shows like actors are cast in movies or TV shows. That proves my point about the contestant producers and how contestants aren't even real. They are a social construct made up by producers to sell more TV shows. And people that are cast in game shows aren't real people. They are robots. They are not real. And if you try to think they're real, they aren't. So, let's just go to the next question. How to be a how does Game Show Network come up with shows? Let's read more on that one. Any questions? It says, what do you look for in a game show? I look for a solid title and a nice profile picture. If the game show does not have a nice title, I'm not going to watch it. I do not watch Breaking Bad. I don't know that. I'm pretty sure that game show is about, like, I don't know. It's someone getting a lot of money through something. I don't know. I think what's the essence of a game show? I'll try to use this to deduce what Breaking Bad is. So a game show is when someone completes a series of challenges that they don't really need to do anyway. They never had to do in the first place in order to get a large sum of money that they can do whatever with. But usually I think it just goes to whatever, their family or something. So that's my guess of what Breaking Bad would be. I've never seen the Breaking Bad game show, but I mean, it's a good... I've heard lots of positive reviews about it, but if I were to guess what it was, I don't know, it would just be like this guy, I'm guessing, because I've seen what he looks like because it's a popular show. So I know it's like this guy with like a beard, and I'm guessing he's the one going on the game show. So I'm guessing he goes on the game show. He doesn't have to, but he does because it's fun. And then he just completes a bunch of challenges and then earns a bunch of money. And I think that's kind of like the gist. I don't know why it's so popular. Game shows haven't really been popular in the latest of years. But it's 2023 and people still love Breaking Bad for some reason. Like, move on, guys. Watch like a TV show or movie or something. Stop watching game shows, you idiot. Next it says, is your work seasonal, like pilot season on primetime TV? Is game shows seasonal? Are game shows seasonal? No, they're. Why would they be seasonal? It even says here, we develop shows year-round. The window is always open. It's not seasonal. What kind of... This is genuinely a stupid question. Is being a game show host seasonal? No, why would it be seasonal? Just always have the show. It's not like an outside thing or it's an inside thing. You can do it whenever you want. People are always open for game shows, right? Well, people don't really care anymore. It says, how do you come up with ideas? Random idea generator. There's like so many online. I just pick a random one each time. How do I pick the random idea generator each time? I just pick randomly. What's the next step after you get the idea? So what I do is I get my microphone out. Well, it's already out. And then I open up Audacity on my computer, and then I click... Well, I have to click audio setup, and then set it to my microphone, so that it actually sounds decent. And then I just record. And that's about it. It's pretty easy, actually. That's it. And then then it says, what is it like when you hit on the right gameplay? I don't like to hit on gameplays. Frankly, that's inappropriate and out of character, because the gameplay the gameplay didn't consent to it, so I'll leave it at that. Next question, what makes a great host? If you're me, you're kind of already the best host possible. But if you're not me, well, you can just ask me to be the host. I mean, I don't see why I couldn't. I'm like always free. So, what makes a great host? Me. In summary. Well, but here it says, we always try to find a host who brings a smile to your face when you see them. You don't know what I look like, unless you do, in which case, nice, that's cool. But you don't know... I don't think I'd bring a smile to your face if you saw me, because you wouldn't recognize me unless you do. And if you did, I don't know. I feel like pretty much every other experience I've had with you trumps you seeing my podcast, to be honest. But if you do see this part and you know in real life, smile when you see me. Then I'll know that you actually watched this and that you're a true podcast fan. Next question. How long does it take for a show to be born from idea to air? Honestly, I don't care, and we're pretty much out of time anyway for the day. So, I'm going to leave you with this message, right? Have having a podcast is kind of fun, but at the same time, there's never any time for it. Today, I'm very busy, but I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to record an episode because I want to, and we'll just see how it goes. And it went. And it's done. It took me I record for half an hour, and then I'm done. I think it's pretty cool, and I think that other people should... Because people are like, well, what's your podcast on? And I'm like, well, it's on YouTube. Cause I don't know if they're supposed to be on. It's probably like a podcast app or something. And I don't really care. I like my podcasts on YouTube. You know, it's simple. I know how to do it. And it's just, I just put it on. I don't know. If no one sees me, I don't care. If no one watches this episode, someone will. That's how YouTube works. You'll get at least one view. No one's getting 0 views on YouTube. That's just not how the platform works. It's so popular. You're guaranteed at least 1 view. So that's what I'll leave you with. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode. Goodbye.